sued my parents for having me without my permission. But I just want to make a couple of things clear here. So my parents that I sued, they contributed to, conceiving me, and my mother that raised me, she gave birth to me. And that's why I sued them, because I did not consent to being here. Like, I was unaware that I was gonna have to grow up and get a job to support myself, and I just didn't consent to that. They didn't try to contact me in any way before I was born to see if I actually wanted to be here, and that's why I sued them.
Oh, wokies, wokies, wokies. And to think that it only gets worse from here. Anyway, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on more of these spectacles. Ready, set, let's groan.
My point is, Riley, that
Let me say something.
I understand how hard it is to be a woman
ahead.
and that you fought so hard to be a woman, and I have so much empathy with that, so I can understand why it is so upsetting when, in your view, someone who isn't a woman comes along and says they are, because it undermines all of the history of what women have been through.
Yes.
But that's not a trans woman's fault. That is men's fault. Men are the problem, not Dylan, not trans women.
Men are the problem.
Except trans women are men.
Let's get this straight. The reason why trans women feel the need to occupy women's spaces is because of the men who are not even involved in the situation. Actually, no, men are involved. The ones in wigs and makeups vlogging their days of girlhood. And stop bulging your eyes, buddy. They might fall out of their sockets.
Okay, but you're still saying these kids should not be accepted because they don't really fit into either place. They can't just
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
What's that written though? Okay.
In the name Boy Scouts.
Where is that written? Well, in basic grammar. Only girls can be princesses, only women can be queens, only boys can be princes, and only men can be kings. We all learnt this.
Oh!
No!
What are you doing?
You do not!
Hey!
You do not!
What are you doing?
Bruh.
What?
You do not take pictures of me!
Oh my God!
Right! Look what you're doing, kid!
The man in the black hoodie had misgendered the person in the blue dress. Apparently the blue dress is transgender and wanted to be called she, her, and ma'am. So, to drive that point home, the blue dress decided to manhandle the man in the hoodie. How ladylike.
Let me ask you another question, Phoebe. Let me ask you, what bills do you currently pay? Who pays for your accommodation at university?
My student loan.
Have you ever paid any bills in your lifetime?
No.
So you don't know what it's like to be a homeowner and not to be able to afford your energy bills, and then see some stupid young people throwing soup over a painting in a gallery that has nothing to do with the fact they can't afford to pay their bills. You don't know what it's like to pay a bill, Phoebe, do you?
No, but I have empathy for those people. The climate crisis is fueled, but the cost of living crisis is fueled by the cost of oil crisis. They are both one crisis. It's a crisis of greed of our government and their billionaire friends.
What do you understand about an ordinary family who can't afford to pay their fuel bills, who needs ordinary fuel to be delivered, but because of green taxation, their bills are now so expensive they can't afford them? And if we stop oil, how much more expensive do you think fuel's going to be, Phoebe? Or is it that you're just spouting out words that you and your friend think look good? How is it related to stopping oil to throw soup over a painting in a gallery? How is that related? How is it helping the poorest people in my country?
So Phoebe and her activist friends were a part of a Stop Oil protest. They believe oil was responsible for the inability of the masses to pay their bills. Cool, so what did they do? They went into a museum to throw soup on expensive paintings. This got Phoebe some media attention, where she's admitting to not even understanding why she's ruining a person's livelihood. Classic colored head wokey.
So think and admire, and you read these books that are written by men. They have no connection to God. So when you see that, oh, you're gonna go to hell for sodomy and everything else, but you're basing it all on a book that men, white, rich, cis men have wrote.
The Bible wasn't written by white men.
It was written by
It was written by Hebrews. We're actually brown-skinned men. They're actually my color. So
when did all of America's problems become straight white cis men?
What, do you want something? I can help you if you want. Yes. Do you want to take me through there? Right? Do you want to take me through there and show me everything that's going on?
Do you want to see where we give here? Do you want to see where I personally give people take out people's uteruses? Do you want to see where I personally take out people's uteruses? Yes, I do want to see that. Oh, okay, good, because I actually do it right around the back alley. If you want to see, yeah, we can go. Want to go check it out?
I mean, we could get the cops to help check that out if you're admitting to doing that, because that's pretty vulgar.
I personally am here to do so much harm.
Thank you. Thank you for admitting
to the world. I, as a gay person, only want the worst for people. Hello.
Your words, not mine, dude.
Yes. Also, why? I just do not understand. You're literally putting us in harm's way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can somebody call 911? It was so sad watching him try so hard to intimidate her. Maybe we don't need the cops. Maybe he needs some shame.
How can you come here and tell me there's no such thing as white privilege and no such thing as racism?
Easily. There's no such thing as white privilege or racism, so. There's racism, but it's not institutional.
You know what SB 1070 is?
Tell me what it is.
It's basically a law for an officer to pull me over and ask for my papers.
Okay, well, I think people should be asked for their papers regardless of the skin color.
So there we go. Here's white privilege. Who are they going to ask for their papers, me or you?
I get asked for papers all the time when I get pulled over. Hold on a second. First of all, I get asked for my driver's license all the time when I get pulled over. In fact, every time I get pulled over, I get asked for my driver's license. Do you really think you're being pulled over just because of the color of your skin?
Dude, it's happened many times.
Hey, guess what? I get pulled over too.
You're never going to know it because you don't look like me, man.
Wait, hold on.
You're never going to have to know my struggles.
I'm just going to give you a piece of advice. Honestly, you complimented me and Candace Owens. You're looking at the world as a victim. And the evil white man that's trying to crush you, it's a lie. It's a lie that is designed to keep you down. It's a lie that is designed to try and disempower you. And white people get pulled over all the time to be asked for their papers. And if a non-citizen does not have their papers, they should be deported from this country if they do not have their papers. So please go ahead.
All right, before you start saying I'm playing that victim thing, I'm never going to call myself a victim, but I'm not blind to the fact that my journey is going to be different than someone that doesn't look like me.
You're right. So you know how it's going to be different? It's going to be easier for you because affirmative action laws benefit people of color above white applicants to certain universities. In Texas, if you try to get Regeneron or monoclonal antibodies, the specific position of the Texas Health and Human Services is we only give Regeneron to Hispanic and black people and not to white people. At State Street Capital Advisors, if you want to be a financial manager, you know they're not allowed to hire white people without board permission, yet they can hire Hispanic people and black people as much as they want. You know that United Airlines wants to double the amount of Hispanic and black pilots and try to hire less white pilots? You're right. You and I have it different. The current regime and status quo is making it easier for you. You have privilege.
Now that is a response. He definitely has some rethinking to do. Who knows, maybe he will become unwoke.
We need to band together. It was for Gen Z's first president.
Does anyone else feel super uncomfortable? How brave of this young man, if he feels like one, to share his pain. It must have been so tough to open his TikTok camera, position his phone, catch it as he fell mid-breakdown. He called on Gen Zs. You guys need to get him some help and quickly.
The U.S. will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border.
All I can say is fuck Donald Trump.
Fuck Donald
Period.
Trump. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, fuck him.
Period.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're happy he's out because now we don't have someone who thinks like this.
Right, exactly. Because Donald Trump, he just really, He was the devil.
Yeah.
He was the devil.
And it's showing when he says things like this.
Yeah.
So the devil would say things like this.
Exactly.
Would you ever expect our current administration, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, to use this type of language when talking about people wanting to come into our country?
No,
hell no.
No,
They
they
got
wouldn't
more
even
class
do
than
that.
that.
They're classy people.
Yeah, they got more
You know?
class than that. No.
So they wouldn't do that.
So I want you to read this headline from Politico.
Harris blunt message in Guatemala, do not come to the U.S. Oh, she said that?
Everything I just said was not Donald Trump. It was Kamala Harris.
Oh my God.
Show me the facts.
I'm
Right here.
sorry, Donald Trump.
Read that headline to me.
This reporter played a game where she read part of a speech, and the interviewees guessed which politician said those very words. These two individuals strongly believed it was Trump's words. Well, the woman believed, and the man was a member of the agreeing club. Either way, they were both wrong. Turns out books really shouldn't be judged by their covers, and not everyone is as classy as you think. At least she apologized.
A lot of things will be hard for you to comprehend. That's why you're in sex work, because you can't offer value in the marketplace.
What the fuck?
And don't worry, I'm not really talking to you. I'm speaking against you as a symbol.
A symbol of what?
A symbol of a declining society where people
Gotcha.
lack values. So the point is this. If you had IQ and skills to offer to the marketplace, you
Gotcha.
can earn a good income. Being that the most valuable thing about you is something that you never earned. You didn't earn knowledge, you didn't earn skills. It's your breast that you paid for and your hole. So you market that to earn money, which is to say, if I took your brain and placed your brain into a man's body, you would be in poverty.
I'm just good for nothing. Yep, you comment.
No, you are good for something. That's why you have OnlyFans. And that's my point, is that that's what you're good for.
Oh man, the truth was definitely served cold. This was a classic feminist against man debate. And well, he gave her something to debate while she goes home and lies in bed that night.
Do you think genitals define gender?
No.
Why?
You can do, it's your body and your choice, and you can do whatever you want.
So like, what if I wanted to change my race? Is that okay?
I'm not sure, I'm sorry.
Well, at least she apologized.
So you're saying if you're not a woman, then you shouldn't have an opinion?
Where does a guy get a right to say what a woman is? Women only know what women are.
Are you a cat?
No.
Can you tell me what a cat is?
This is actually a genuine mistake. I am sorry I even came up there.
You want to tell us what a woman is?
This person believes that no one outside of a category has the right to define said category. We should ask bread what it actually is. Water too. We just might be wrong. In fact, line up every defined and named entity. We need to ensure we are not dead naming and misgendering.
We do not appreciate being filmed for this.
Oh, he's not filmed. He identifies the camera. we just kind of, I'm glad it's funny to you.
It's just very confusing.
Exactly. We are all confused. What do you identify as? A billionaire? A good steak? A rational person with common sense?
If someone came up to me and said, I hate white people, I hate you because you're white, did I just experience racism from that?
No.
But if I said those exact same words and twisted the skin color, it would be racist.
Absolutely, 100%.
I did not go through that course of who can be racist towards each other. Interesting,
right.
but
Probably
I'm
because
good.
you're white. So.
Oh, because I'm white, I didn't go through the racism course.
Probably not.
Yes or no? Can white people experience racism?
No.
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 No?
No. By definition, no.
What's the definition?
I would have to Google it really quickly, but.
Do that for me.
Okay. Let me Google it for you.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Oh, not me on 5%.
Ugh, not him on 5%. Imagine being the professor of Racism 101, but needing to Google the definition. In case you watch this, sir, racism is discrimination and prejudice against people based on their race or ethnicity.
Hello, Navarro. Suck any good lately. What's wrong, Navarro? I think you like a big in your mouth. Ha ha ha. Page 23.
This father was complaining about the ridiculous book available at the children's library. While reading the smut published for kids, a member of the school board expressed that his language was inappropriate. Oh no, who would have thought?
you could be with your boyfriend currently, and I waved a magic wand and I said you can make $1 million a year and never do again, would you?
No.
Okay.
He's used the wand. You can make $1 million a year. Yeah. You don't have to do, the adult content.
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't have to do it. That would be great, but I would still want to do it. Personally, I'm an exhibitionist. I love, putting my self out there for other people to see, for other people to, themselves to have fun with.
Can I ask you a question? Since you're about presenting yourself to the world, do you have a good relationship with your father?
Okay, here we go.
No, I don't talk to him.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Okay, show of hands. Who else was expecting her answer?
Right. Well, my counter to that is that we shouldn't really be seeing the world in black and white. And a woman it's more than what meets the eye for a definition.
No, it's not. No, we should see the world through male and female. Yeah.
Why?
Definitely. Well, why? Because I live in reality, not in Narnia or some sort of weird created academic abstract space that doesn't exist.
So why shouldn't a person be socially welcome to identify with gender outside of the binary?
Well, anyone can pretend to be something they're not, but that doesn't make them the thing that they're not. Can I be black?
No.
Oh, but why can't I socially become black? Blackface, right? I can pretend, wear camouflage, masquerade as something that I'm not, right? How's that different than a trans person?
Race and gender are two completely separate things. They have nothing to do with each other, and the existence of being transgender does not imply the existence of being transracial.
So you can pretend to say that you have ovaries when you don't, but you can't put makeup on to pretend to be a black person.
What transgender women are claiming to have ovaries?
There's lots of men that pretend to have ovaries. In fact, the CDC guidance says right now that men can chest feed. Do you think men can chest feed?
We'll give him a minute to gather his thoughts.
That's not the sole criterion for being...
So let me ask you a question. What is a woman?
A woman is someone who identifies as one.
Answer the question without saying the word woman. You can't say the word woman. That's called circular reasoning. It's like saying a tree is something that looks like a tree. So I'll ask again, what is a woman?
A woman is a person who lives a lifestyle aligned with feminine characteristics, not necessarily your chromosomes or your genitals.
So someone who just wears a dress. So what you are doing is you are reducing womanhood to a costume.
And mic drop, but hold on, he still has more to say, it would seem.
No, so are you suggesting that, like, a transgender woman goes about her day pretending to be a woman, but then when she gets home, she starts acting like a man?
No, delusional in every part of life, I understand that, but that doesn't mean they're not delusional. There's a series of mental conditions where you could pretend to be a wolf. Can you be trans species too? Does your own mental condition dictate external reality, yes or no?
Not necessarily.
Okay, then why do you believe that a biological man can become something that he is not? Because he thinks it.
Because gender is not interchangeable with sex.
Yeah, right. So there are 0 genders. There are only 2 sexes. Gender is a made-up term that started in the academy in the 1960s. Talking about sex, which is the only thing that actually can be proven and that matters, XXXY, I will ask the question again. Why is it that a man can suddenly become a dress and can be treated exactly the same as a woman that is biologically, not just biologically different, but somebody has a different brain, a different hormonal system, menstruate, have children? I'll be very honest with you. It is so unbelievably insulting to women to have men have to lecture that all it takes is some weird dude with testosterone can put makeup on, wear a thong and a dress, and he suddenly becomes a woman. Here's at the essence of the issue, is that no matter how much surgery you do, no matter how many drugs you take, you don't stop being the thing that you were born. You don't get to determine your reality by a stroke of the will. I don't deny for a second that the trans person thinks that they are. Certain people think that they're younger than they are. Some people think they're taller than they are. Some people think they're richer than they are. Some people think they're innocent when they're not, like Bob Menendez. There's plenty of delusional people in this world. It's up for society to say no to the delusional and yes to reality. It is for us to not allow us to be reigned under the tyranny of somebody's imagination. Do you have a response? And then we'll wrap it up. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's done now. It looks like it, but he didn't cry. He was just at a major loss for words. Let's hope he learns from this experience.
And so I'm going to ask you, you said that people need this stuff so they can live happier lives and potentially it'd be life-saving, you said even. Aside from your anecdotes of your friends who told you so, how do you know that?
Okay, so thinking back to when I was 16 in an anatomy class, when I learned that transgender people tend to have the brain structure that confirms their identity that they identify with. And you can look that up. That's a fact.
I will look that up.
Yeah, it's a fact.
I will look that up, but I won't find it.
Yeah.
It's not a fact.
Oh.
It's not a fact.
Should we all pull out Google really quick? Look.
So you're saying a trans man has the brain of a woman?
No.
Notice how it took her a few moments to even understand the terms used in the question. A 16-year-old was taught that people's brains differ from their assigned gender. Guess what that 16-year-old is? A liar.
And where did you get that from?
Look it up. It's literally, I'm telling you, I learned it from my anatomy class when I was 16. And I looked up the fact before I walked up here because I knew that you would ask.
Okay. That's not true, but it also doesn't answer the question. So let's try to stay focused on one false claim at a time if we can, because we might get bogged down.
Okay.
The drugs we give to kids for puberty blockers, so-called puberty blockers, originally are cancer drugs used to treat prostate cancer. They're also used to chemically castrate sex offenders and child rapists. Now we give them to physically healthy kids. You're saying that we need to do that or they will die. And so one last time I'm going to ask you, what evidence do you have of that remarkable claim?
I don't think I claimed that every child would benefit from that.
Well, no, I didn't say you did. You said puberty blockers are life-saving. What evidence do you have for that?
They can be. The evidence is the encounters with patients who have had these procedures done, and it has saved their, I don't want to say it saved their lives, but it has made their lives better. I can't confirm whether or not they're alive right this second, but there are children that it has helped. So what do you have to say for the happy trans community who has benefited from these procedures? That's my question. I guess
what I have to say is that your entire question is built on a whole stack of false premises that you can't begin to even remotely defend. So it's a faulty question from the start. I reject your premise. I absolutely reject that there are any kids who need to be chemically castrated in order to be happy.
Okay, let's...
I reject that.
Yes, walk away, anatomy girl.
Well, there I was thinking it was just me that had a problem, but it turns out it's the air conditioning that's sexist.
I know. So many women in our office have the exact same problem. You know, we just sit there absolutely freezing at our desks trying to type. You can probably tell I've got a cold right now, which I blame all on the AC. And so it's just so actually quite nice to see this research. It's just such a relief to know that there's actually proof that this is happening, that women, do feel the cold more than men, and that the AC in offices is normally regulated more for a male's temperature than a woman's.
And it's an explanation for these constant battles you'll see in offices right across the country between the sexes for control of that office thermostat.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, one of the biggest problems is that often in offices, it is men who control temperatures. That's just something I've found anecdotally. And because majority of the men in offices seem to be absolutely fine with the temperatures, women kind of just sit there on the corner feeling absolutely frozen.
This interview went on and on about how uncomfortable it is to be in an air-conditioned office, how women couldn't dress fashionably to work because the temperature dropped. Man, what horrible work conditions. Just wanted to show that shade of delusion. Now to the next Wokey. Again, the Stop Oil protesters who decide to bother innocent citizens rather than actually try to start the change they would like to see. Well, this time the provoked citizen had a little time on his hands, so he sprayed them with a liquid. Too bad he didn't have pepper spray on hand.
Still have the choice, ultimate authority over what happens to her body.
But there's a child inside of her body.
Hold on.
What about meth?
Like, should she be allowed to do meth?
Yeah.
Switches up now.
I think if someone is doing meth while they're pregnant, that it is completely acceptable for something like, I don't know what the name of the service is in the United States.
Child services? It's her body, though.
Yeah, it's her body.
If she wants to do meth, what's the big deal?
The big deal is that she's intentionally trying to kill a child.
Hold on there a minute.
Yeah, I see where we're going.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Ha! Another stumbler. Isn't abortion intentional, mister? If you keep them talking for a while, the script runs out and the truth flows.
Hello. I had a statement to say. You were banned on Twitter or whatever because you dead named somebody. I just wanted to say that two wrongs does not make a right. It's not right that you were deplatformed. I don't think anybody should be deplatformed for saying anything. I fully believe in freedom of speech. But I mean, I wasn't so happy with you. You seemed kind of proud about, not proud, but it just seemed wrong to you that you were dead naming somebody. I get it. If it was a mistake, that's fine.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't? Okay. Well, okay, then you're proud of it. That does not make it right. I think as generations go on, we become more accepting to things. And I think that even if you don't like somebody, it's not a good idea to normalize dead naming.
Yeah, so can you explain to our audience what is dead naming? You probably know it better than I do.
Is when somebody transitions and they choose a new name conforming to their gender. So if their name was Lisa before and they changed it to Jack, if you call them Lisa before that, or Lisa after they transitioned, that is dead naming.
What's wrong with that?
I think it's very wrong because I have a lot of trans friends, and if they were dead named, it would be, shattering to them because it's something that is so personal to them. What?
Shattering?
Yes. Yes. It's who they are now. People don't transition just for the hell of it, It's a very personal thing to them. They don't do it to appeal to the other gender or whatnot.
This pro-trans student decided to lecture the speaker Charlie Kirk and the audience about the shattering effects of calling someone by their birth name. Charlie has actually been banned from X because he tweeted a biography of a trans woman and began by talking about the man this trans woman used to be.
But let's think about it. Isn't it part of their biography? Can you really erase history and act as if that wasn't your name for a while? For example, it was another name than Rachel Levine.
Well, why do names matter so much? It's what you want to be called. It's just a title for you.
But it's part of your biography, right? It's a fact that a man who now thinks he's a woman had a family, got married, and then magically decided to no longer be a man. I was talking facts, so your problem would be with telling of a biography?
After describing the importance of accepting new names, she goes on to tell us how names barely even matter. Ma'am, you seem confused.
Well, I mean, it's not as deep as you think it is. It's just somebody, it's them now. And it's just being respectful.
Oh, okay, but it's being respectful by not being able to act as if they were something that they weren't. Isn't their whole identity in being no longer what they were? So it shouldn't shatter them. It should be empower them.
No.
So then why do they call themselves trans if it's not their whole identity?
Well, people don't go out saying, guess what? I'm trans.
Yeah, they do.
They just kind of exist. That's Twitter. That's Twitter. I can guarantee you.
And TikTok and most campuses and the trans groups and the trans flag and the trans parade and the trans music and the trans stuff. People say they're trans all the time. If the change is not part of their identity, then why do they call themselves trans?
Well, I mean, it's just a title. Everybody, like, our society is more, we want titles for just about everything.
I agree. So I don't accept the title, and I should have a right not to accept it.
Well, everybody has a right to be respected. They haven't done any wrong to you.
No, you don't have a right to be respected. You have a right to speak. You have to earn respect in a decent society. I just want to, I think you're being sincere in this regard, but why, so let's just take gender-affirming care or whatever you might call it, right?
Yes.
So affirming someone's mental delusion where they think they're a man or a woman, why is that the appropriate line of treatment? For example, do we give liposuction to people that are anorexic?
Well, no, I mean, I think...
No, because we know better. We know it's going to harm them, and we love that person.
No,
so that's not medicine. That would be torture. A biography should not be eliminated because someone demands respect. For example, I can say that Muhammad Ali used to be called Cassius Clay. It's part of his life. And then he found Islam, and he decided to be called something else. And all of a sudden you get this rancor and this uproar that somehow I'm being hateful and no longer worthy of a Twitter platform because I said a fact that Levine had a name and a family and was a man and then claims he's a woman. If all of a sudden history and facts can be erased, we are dangerously approaching a 1984 dystopian world control scenario that I don't think any of us should entertain. Final thoughts?
Okay, to wrap it up, my point was basically just, I think it's better to normalize or not normalize, but like not put out that it's okay to do these types of things. I think it's just general human respect. I think we just all need to become more accepting, and we don't really need to,
Got it. And so my opinion is 180. We have clarity, not agreement. I'm not going to accept mental delusions with force.
Same, Kirk. The freedom we chant can not only belong to one party.
When the wind doesn't blow, when we had really cold days, we were reliant on importing from the EU, on coal and on gas. How are we going to replace that in the short term?
Quite frankly, I'm not a scientist. What I am doing is listening to what all the experts are saying. We're living in this insane world where the experts aren't being listened to.
This is a vibrant purple stop oil activist.
It's time to pick a side. We don't have time to waste anymore.
Why were you arrested?
Just sitting down with my friends after they painted a building. I didn't do anything. I sat on a pavement, and now I've got a bit of orange paint on me, and apparently that's a crime now. I'm not a criminal. I'm a scared little kid trying to fight for their future. What is worth more, art or life? Is it worth more than food? Worth more than justice? Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people?
Right, scared, innocent, kid fighting for the future.
The United Nations has called for no more oil and gas. The International Energy Agency has said we can have no new oil and gas. The IPCC report, the largest global report on the climate crisis, have all said we can have no new oil and gas. How many more experts need to say it?
Because we can't do it tomorrow. What are we going to do in terms of transport? That we still need petrol for cars and we need diesel for lorries. How are we going to get goods into supermarkets? Energy is...
And it's preventable. We have the solutions.
Cheap energy is one of the things that has hugely extended extended life expectancy by the ability to control temperatures, whether this is by air conditioning or by heating, the ability to store food more effectively, the ability to transport food, and indeed use fertilizers to grow more food, has all been essential in increasing life expectancy. Taking all that away would be disastrous for life expectancy.
Do you know what's essential in keeping our food supply? Tackling the climate crisis. This year we lost 1/3 of our wheat crops, half of our potato crops, and it's only going to get worse. We're heading to a future where people are going to be fighting over the last loaves of bread at Lidl.
But the only way we get our wheat crop is by putting the fertilizers on that come from fossil fuels. How are we going to replace that? That the productivity of organic farming is so much lower than of modern farming methods. We cannot feed the world on organic farming, and you must know that.
Jacob, you have 6 children? Do you not care about their future? Do you not care about them being able to feed themselves? Because right now, under this government's policies, your 6 children are heading towards a future that is filled with life-threatening extreme weather events, crop failures, famine, war. Suffering on a scale completely unimaginable.
I think you've taken the evidence for an evolving climate and then applied it in an extraordinarily extreme way and are forgetting about the enormous advantages.
I can't believe you're talking to me about an evolving climate.
Well, the climate is...
People are dying.
But this is
Do you know how many people are suffering around the world?
What evidence is there that this is because we're using fossil fuels, that the climate evolves, but more people die each year from cold than from heat, as you know?
Have you read the IPCC report? What do you mean? What science?
But in terms, you're making extreme claims, but you're suggesting by not using fossil fuels, we would not produce the food we need to feed the world population.
I'm suggesting that if we keep on heading down this genocidal path of mass destruction, then no, there won't be any foods in the supermarket. Then we will see vast swathes of the world uninhabitable. We will see mass displacement of people.
But if you took out fossil fuels tomorrow...
This entire interview mirrored the patient grandfather trying to explain why trees are green to his hyperactive granddaughter. She claimed to only be listening to and acting on expert opinions. Her ears must not be working this time.
James argues, accurately, that there are differences between men and women. This is a strange position to be in, to be arguing for something that is so universally and widely accepted within biology. What is not as widely accepted is that culture is also evolutionary, but I'm going to argue that biology and culture are both evolutionary. Let's look at differences between men and women that are explicitly anatomical and physiological. Are men taller than women on average? Does anyone take offense at that fact? Are you irritated?
There's always a standout.
So I would say you could be irritated by it. You could be irritated by the fact that women have to be the ones to gestate and lactate. You could be irritated by a lot of truths. But taking offense is a response that is rejection of reality. So men and women are different on height, they're different on muscle mass, they're different on where fat is deposited on our bodies, right? Our brains are also different. So there.
Security! This is what happens. Oh, did they shut off the volume? Can you hear? Can everybody hear?
If words trigger you so much, maybe you shouldn't attend a speech given by people with views that are different from yours. Just stick to the colorful side of X.
All right, well, we're going to raise our voices. The conversation's going to go on.
See? Truth always wins.
I'm just wondering if you'd like to go down on a list saying you're willing to take the refugees into your home.
Only problem is I rent.
You rent?
Yeah.
Maybe an issue?
Yeah, because they've got, well, they've put 9 bedrooms in a 4-bedroom house, so we're pretty much...
So, to actually adopt the refugee and take them into your home?
Well, if I had any space, I would.
If you had any space.
It wouldn't be
right.
a nice place to bring them, because it's a bit overcrowded.
Right.
But yes, if I had the space, definitely.
Thank you very much for that, love. Pop one into your home.
I live in a rental place, so I can't.
Rental?
Yeah.
You can't do it?
Yeah.
Someone else's job?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
You can't take one?
I don't have a space.
Don't have the space? We'll have a refugee stay at your house?
Yeah, I don't mind.
You go on the list?
I don't mind, yeah, 100%, give me the thing. Oh wait, I can't, because my house is only a little small. And
Amazing. Would you be willing to have a refugee in your home?
Yes, if I had room.
If you had room, it's funny that. To adopt a refugee?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Any reason in particular?
I don't. What sort of refugee are you talking about? Sorry, I can't.
Would you adopt a refugee into your home?
No, thank you.
No? Adopt a refugee?
I would be willing, yeah, if I had the space.
If you had the space?
Yeah.
So, where should we put them then?
Where should we put them?
Yeah.
There's plenty of people who have done it.
Who are you, mate? My name's Jim, who are you?
My name's Alistair. I'm already adopted a refugee, thanks.
Yeah, they are welcome as long as they don't come into your homes. Yeah, it is definitely a space issue.
What she brought up, Christo-fascism.
My pronouns are they. What are your pronouns?
If you have to ask me that, you need to get eye surgery.
What are your
Okay, so someone needs to go back to elementary school.
Okay, that was rude.
And are you multiple people? Are you multiple people? Because they means multiple people.
Non-binary. They, them is
You
also
said you're they, them.
They, them.
That's
non-binary.
multiple people. When I say they, I mean a group of people. I'm not going to call you they.
We imagine pulling up Google and still denying the reality right in front of you.
Having a laugh, who's that? No thanks. What's going on here? Wrong ends, the lot of ya. Have that, and you can have it as well, you. The lot of ya.
Maybe they needed some milk.
So on campus, if there's some students, at the bottom GPA-wise, would you give them some of your own GPA points to make it more equal?
No.
What's the difference between working hard and earning a high GPA and not wanting to give it away, and then working hard and earning a high income and not wanting to give it away?
I feel like the highest bracket of income earners in America are not at all the people that work the hardest. Oftentimes the poorest members of our society are the ones that work the hardest because they're the ones that are working 40-hour weeks in intense manual labor jobs, whereas the richest members of society are the ones that are have the capital to invest in stocks and aren't really contributing to our society but are.
These students in earlier questions chose socialism over capitalism. They believe the top should carry the bottom, but cannot share their GPA with poor performing students.
We're tired of straight white men having the power and everything, and it's we as women of color, as students at this university, we are very much capable of certain things, and we don't have the same privileges that are offered to straight white men.
And I've been hearing that from a lot of the ladies that I've been talking to today. Talk to me about what some of those privileges are that, straight white men have that you don't have. Talk to me about that.
I think I don't really know. Have you ever experienced a specific instance?
I don't know, but I also need to go.
I know, I do need to go. I'm so
Yeah, run away. That's what people do when they realize they make baseless claims with zero evidence.
I think my body is sort of a gift, and I have obligations to my creator. The reason that I don't support mandatory organ donation is not because of some liberal conception of autonomy or something. It's because that's not what your organs are for. Your organs are for you. Your lungs are to bring oxygen to your blood. Your heart is to pump blood around your body. Your liver is to take care of what I will probably do later on at the bar after this speech, and so on and so forth. My organs are not for you. Your organs are not for me. So you can give an organ donation, and that can be a lovely thing to do, but you aren't obligated for it because things are known largely by what they are for.
Okay. It sounded like you were just going to be anti-organ donation for a second. I was like, that's weird.
No. But I am against, going in and stealing people's organs. I think that would be quite wrong.
This young lady asks about Michael Knowles' stance on organ donation, and he stuns her with his response. But notice how she was already expecting a triggering answer?
No words can describe how unhinged all of this looks. How are walkies getting away with this? For more wokey videos, click on the screen right now.
Maybe it's not a reality for certain countries to completely eliminate fossil fuels. Do you think you guys are coming back from like a privileged position in that sense?
Pardon me 1 second. If we could like quickly get a look and see that, you know, these are our representatives. We, the people, are the government. You guys are just our representatives. But the thing is, what was the question?
So the question is, how are you guys addressing economic equality if you guys want to get rid of fossil fuels?
I believe that that's a question for the leader.
Well, what do you think?
I think that I won't comment on that, only because I really don't have an answer.
Wow, just wow. The leader needs to train his followers, it would seem. This is beyond embarrassing.
What's a socialist intifada? If I'm being honest with you, I just got this at the stand over there. Oh, okay. I don't actually know the definition of the word intifada. Okay. But, I mean... Do any of you know the definition of the word intifada? Stop bombing Gaza, that makes sense. What about that one? Yeah. And what does that mean?
Well, it means to stop the Israeli occupation of Palestine.
From which river to which sea?
River Jordan.
From the Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah. So does that mean that all of Israel should be, what is now Israel, should be Palestine, in your opinion?
No, I personally don't think that. I think I'm definitely not the person to talk to about it.
So you leave everything going in your life to go protest for a cause you know nothing about? You carry signs that you have no inkling of what they actually mean?
The city of Hamtramck, Michigan elected its first Muslim-majority city council and its first Muslim mayor, and lefties everywhere went, "Hooray, diversity!" And then the city banned the pride flag.
Shout out to Hamtramck, Michigan.
Getting called a straight white man.
We're good. And everything's really good. Everything's looking really good. We're in the lowest time of poverty in human history, and poverty is exponentially reducing every year. Trust me, we're in a very good time.
This is really interesting coming from a straight white man.
Well, okay, yes.
Like, everything's always good for you. I'm a minority.
Yeah.
Nothing's good for me.
I'm Palestinian. I'm Arab.
You're Arab?
Yeah.
Damn, he should have robbed her in with their famous racial assumption argument. And how has nothing been good for you, lady? You're literally getting interviewed in an elite college.
So much trans hate in the world right now, and I'm so done with it. And pride just means that we are unabashedly happy.
And in your own life, where would you say that you feel the hate the most?
I kind of internalize a lot of the hate, so it feels like it mostly comes from myself at this point because...
What? So there's no hate? You just hate yourselves and blame it on the ones who do not care. Interesting. Okay. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. Would you like to watch more videos like this? Then hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss anything.